Okay, guys. Good evening, everyone. Today, I was planning to go through questions. Then last minute, I thought maybe we should do some sizing because this is a very important project or subject. The problem is that there is no book you can go and read about sizing. Maybe it's a book, I don't know. But so you have to learn it, and you have to learn it right, because the most difficult part of the procedure is the sizing. When you do the sizing right, then everything becomes easier, really. I mean, you know that, guys. You do a couple of EVAR, TVAR. When you do the right sizing, the case just go really straightforward. When you have a wrong sizing, when you start struggling. So, of course, each company has its own sizing. I mean, all the same principle. The lengths change. Diameter almost the same, but the lengths may change a little bit. It is good to get familiar yourself with one or two devices maximum. Don't do more, you get confused. So try to learn the sizing for one or two. The most common you can, available in the market, in the area where you practice, okay? All right, so let me share with you, so I can draw that, explain to you how to do sizing. So let me share my screen share. All right. So let's draw an aneurysm here. Let me change the color if I can. Sorry, guys. See here. So let's say this is aneurysm. You can see it, guys, right? You see my handwriting?
Yes, bro.
Good. All right, so I just want to be sure that, where is it gone? Where did it go? Didn't work. Sorry, guys. All right, you see my screen again? And you see my drawing?
Yes, we can.
Good. Take this one. All right, so let's do, this is aneurysm. This is internal here. And this is internal here. All right, guys, when you ask for the sizing, you always have three numbers. You get three numbers. Number one, then second number, and then third numbers. The first number you give it to the company is the diameters of the neck. What the diameters? This one. So let's say the diameter, you measure it here. It's about, let's say 22. Okay. The advisable by the IFU should be at least 15%. If you talk to most people who do a lot of the EVAR, they don't go with 15%. They go at least with 20%. So where's my calculator? So if you get, let me get my calculator. So if you have a 22, if you times by 20%, then you get about 26.4. So you get is about 26.4. Let me just make it smaller. So 26.4. So the problem is that the device comes with a fixed size. You have 24, they come 26, you have 28 and 30. It's called, talk about Medtronic. Because again, 24, 26, 28, 32, and 36. Gauze, they have 31, I think, 28, 31. and then they have 34 and 36. So when you go 20%, 26.4, then most probably going to go with 26. So most probably I'm going to tell the company, if this is 22, if I oversize with 20%, I'm going to tell them I need 26 device. Okay. The second thing we want, this is a landing zone. So this is a second number. This is where is the landing zone here, the bifurcation. Okay. Usually the iliac we measure in 3 areas. We measure it here, we measure in the middle, and we measure at the bifurcation here. Okay. Why we measure 3 places? Because again, we are limited with the size. We don't get the size almost we want. Sometimes you want like 17, they come only 16 or 15.4. So you have to work whatever size you have. So your device will land here or here or here. So that's why you need to know all this area. So when your device land where it's going to land, you know what the size. Okay. So usually it takes the average, depending where is the device. Let's say here is about 10. Here's about 11. And here is about, like, say 10. Okay. Again, in here, in the iliac, we don't oversize like 20 or 15%. We don't. We already have a fixed numbers. We have 13. Oh, sorry, we have 10, 13, 16, 20, 24, and we have 28. This is especially with Medtronic. I think our company only 24. Medtronic can go to 28. So you have to pick up one of these sizes. You don't have a legacy to get 15 or 20% like the neck. So always you go with a size bigger, like 10. So most of it you're going to go with the, change the color. So most of it with the 10, with this one, you're going to go with a 13. Okay. So because 10, 11, 10, so most of it go 13. If one of them like 12, you know, and this is like, let's say all of them 12, then you don't go to 13, it's very close. So then most of you going to go to 16. Okay. So you need at least 2 millimeters lower. So if this is like 11, you still can go with a 13. But when it becomes like 12, very close to 13, no, then you go to size bigger. The same, like if you have here size 17, 18, you can go to 20. But when the size here like 19, then most probably 20 will be small, then you have to go to 24. So when you are very close to the number, then better to go to the number above it. Okay. So next number, you're going to give it to them here. So let's say if this is 12, so I'm going to give them like 16 here. Okay. So then 26, 16. Third number is the length. What that means, the length, the distance between from the renal here. If you go from the right side all the way to the bifurcation here, this is the distance. Okay. So let's say we measure it, it came like 160. Okay. So we don't have 161, we have 154. So we have 154 is lower, or we have the next one, or 145. I can't remember. It depends again which company, but Medtronic usually they go up to 145 or 166. So you have either 145 or 166. And this one, most probably I go with 166 because it's very close to 160. So half millimeter will not be an issue. Always the device is going to shorten when you deploy it, because when we measure it on the central line. But really, when you deploy it, it's going to take the curve. So always you're going to run short with the device. So if it's a little longer than at least 1 centimeter, it's okay. Even 1.5 to 2 centimeters, maybe 1 centimeter will be fine. So 160, I have 166, so most of it I use 166. So I'm going to write 166. So when I send to the company, I'll tell them on the ipsilateral, I need 26/816/166. So this way they know, sorry, where is it? Where did it go? How did it go? So here. You can see it, guys, right? You see my screen?
Yes,
Yes.
we did.
Okay, let's be sure. All right. So again, so you give the company 26, 16, 166 is what you give them. This is the main ipsilateral limb. Okay. Now let's go to the, so this is what you give them. Let's go to the contralateral limb. This one here. Let's say the size again from here. Let me change the color. Let's use this color. Let's say from here to the bifurcation here. Let's just say 170. Okay. The contralateral limb, always remember, guys, that the main body, it comes along and has a short. Okay. The company, they want to know the size, this one, which I said this is the one, this one here. They want to know the distal, this one here, which is this one, we said 16. And they want the length, which we talk about it, okay? Which is this number here, right? They never ask about this here. Why is that? Because this is always fixed. This is always come 14, okay? All company. So they never ask you what size you want here. They just want to know these 3 sizes. So what that mean? When you give them contralateral limb, you have to tell them 2 numbers, the proximal size and distal. The same. When you get a contralateral limb, you need the proximal, distal, and the length. But in the contralateral limb, you don't need to give the proximal because all proximal are 16. Why is that? Because all the proximal here is 14. So always be 16, all of them. So you don't have to mention it even. But you can always when you start contralateral, you're going to start with 16 for sure. The next number will be the distal limb, same, because the limb is going to come like this shape, the contralateral limb, okay? So the company, they want to know the distal and the length. That's all they want to know because they know this one will be 16. So if you want to write, if you don't want, so this is 16. They will look here, la contralateral iliac. Let's say here again, it's like 10 and 10, 3 times again, 3 places, 10 and 10, okay? 3 places, this proximal, mid, and distal. So most of the 10, 10 going to go next side, which is 13. So I'm going to write 16, 13, and then you have the links. Here you have to be careful. You don't tell them like I need 170, okay? Because contralateral limb, they come in different sizes, usually arranged, it depends again which company, but usually they comes 82, 93, 124, 156, 199. So 199 belong. So again, what I want to say is that you have to take 5 centimeters off. Why is that? When you put the device inside here, when you're going to put the device here, the main body, okay? Remember, the next one is going to start from here. And this is a flow divider here, okay? So the next, the contralateral limb is going to start from here and go down to this side, okay? So it's not going to start from the top. I think, guys, too many. Let me change the, let me go here, it's better, yeah. Let me give you a new one here. So you understand that. Sorry. So what I'm trying to say is that when you put the main device here, the contralateral limb is going to start from here and go down, okay? Go like that. But remember, when you measure from here, okay? So you don't give this measurement here because it'll be wrong, be too long. You're going to start from here. So always in all company, the distance from here to here, this one here, it is about 5 centimeters. What does that mean? You have to take it off from the total length. So if this one 170, So you're looking 170 minus 5, so 165. So you're going to look to limb at least 165 or shorter. So you look what the company. Go ahead.
50, Doctor.
Sorry?
Minus 50, not minus 5.
5 centimeters.
5 centimeters.
Yeah.
Yes, it's 50
Yeah.
millimeters.
Yeah, this is millimeters. This is centimeter, of course, 50 millimeter. Yeah. 50 millimeters. So it will be what? It will be 120. You're right. You're right. So it'll be 170 minus 50 because millimeters. So it'll be 120. It's correct, Muhammad. So it will be 20. So you need 120. Okay. So look at what the size here they have. They have 190, 90, 82, 93, 124. So 124 will work fine. So this one must be 124 we need. So when you send them the numbers, you send the proximal, which is 16 ohms, as we said. Next one, distal, we said here 10, 10, 10. So I'm going to put 13. And the links will be 124. So you give them this number. So they know the contralateral limb, what you need. The only exceptions in Medtronics, these devices is the ipsilaterals. The shortest one in the ipsilateral is 124. So if you use the ipsilateral 124, this will be 4 centimeter or 40 millimeter, this one. But this is the only exception, and it's only one ipsilateral. It's not very important, don't confuse yourself, but this is the only exception. But all the majority, they are 5 centimeters or 50 millimeters distance between the tip and the flow divider. Okay, so this is how you make the sizing. Of course, this is very basic. You know, we're going to go up about a couple of the scenarios. Before we go any further, any questions? No question?
Just one question, Prof.
Yes.
Regarding the calculation for the angle, the angulation of the neck.
This is something you have to do it by yourself to decide if the device is suitable for EVAR or not. The company will not, they don't need these numbers. You see number you send to them, they're nothing to do with the angulation. Angulation has to be done with, is it with an IFU? Can patient fit for EVAR or not? This is your decision. Or you can give it to them, they tell you does it fit or doesn't fit. But the number, it doesn't, you don't send them number, tell them like angulation 45 or 60 or 65. This will not affect their size. The size, I mean, the device is fixed sizes. You get my point? So angulation, it's something to do with the deployment, something to do with decide if it's fit for EVAR or not, but nothing to do with ordering. I'm saying how to order the EVAR. So when you order the EVAR, you're going to send them only just 2 numbers. You're going to send them this one, the ipsilateral, and you can send them the contralateral limb. This is the 2 numbers. Give it to the company. Okay?
Yes. Okay.
Can I ask a question, Prof?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Yeah. So when you measure the center lining, do you use a specific program or you just like I want to know your tricks of measuring center lining?
Yes. We use Rementio. It's an expensive one, but there's a couple in the market, you know. The Tricar, they called it, I think, or Tricon, they call it Tricon. And there is one free, I think, I forgot his name, also is available. But yes, you need a central line measurement, especially if you have an angulation. If it's a straight neck, straight anatomy, you can do it on your CTA with a 3D. But really, to get a good measurement, you need a central line, especially if you have an angulation, you know.
Okay.
All right. So let me tell you now, I tell you what I told before, I think we jump. When you do a sizing, let me just draw again. You need to measure how you measure. Let me see. I went maybe a bit ahead of that. Okay. So when you do the sheath, you can put these numbers, okay? First one is that you're going to put the diameters here. So you have to measure it here. diameters. As again, let's say 22. So you have a boxes here. So you put at the renal 22, okay? And then the neck here, you have to measure it, the diameters. Let's say 23, okay? And then you need to measure the length of the neck, called an L1, And this should be at least above 10 to be within IFU. Should be more than 10, okay? So you see here, like maybe let's say like 14, okay? So 22, 23, and 14, okay? Second thing also, you need to measure the aneurysm. This is not very important, but just to know that you are doing the right indication. The most important is that you need to measure the bifurcation here. Why is that? Because it has to be more than 18 to 20 millimeters, okay? Because if less than that, then you may end with the compression of the device, of the limb, okay? So the bifurcation has to be more than 18 millimeters for the two limb to fit. Better to be more than 20. If you have it like 14 or 16, then become a problem. Then the both limb will not fit, then one of them will compress each other's. So what the solution? Anybody know what's the solution? If you have a narrow bifurcation?
Aortouniiliac with fin bypass.
One of them, yes. You do aortouniiliac, fin bypass. Or the other options, you can put them there, and then you can crack the aorta by doing two non-compliant balloon, and you can crack the aorta and you dilate it. But this is, you don't do it before, do it after, because if you do it before, you may rupture the aorta, which could happen after, but at least if you ruptured, you already has an EVAR inside. So this is the only problem, you know. So again, if it's like 17, I must reduce ballooning, but if it's like 14, it's too much. I don't think balloon will work, then aorta goes aortouniiliac, okay? Tube graft, we don't use it anymore, unless if you have like a pseudoaneurysm or sacroaneurysm. But all aneurysms, even if you see nice neck distal, you have to go to bifurcated graft. All right, so we measure here. Then we measure also the length from the renal to the bifurcation, okay? Why is that we need this measurement? Anybody knows why we need to measure this one? Let's say the length here came like 100, 10 centimeters. Why it's important to know what the distance between renal bifurcation? Because as I said, when you send to the company, you send from the renal to the iliac bifurcation, not aortic bifurcation. You send links to here. So why important for me to know what the links from here to there? Anyone know, guys? So you don't go to sleep. All right, I'll talk. If you look at the device, guys, this is the main device. All right, remember what I said before. I said the distance from here to here is 5 centimeters, correct? The bifurcation. And the limb, always they come same length. All of them, they come 3 centimeters. Let me make it millimeters, easy, don't get confused, okay? So it's 30 millimeters. So all of them, from the tip to the flow divider is 50, and from the flight divider to the end of the ipsilateral limb is 30. So that means the total should be 80 millimeters, okay? What does that mean? The distance between the renals to the aortic bifurcation should be more than 80. If less than 80, then the other limb will open here, and then you will not, then you're stuck. Then the other limb will be here stuck. Then will not open. Then the whole device will go to ipsilateral limb, cannot open it. So, and at least you need 1 centimeter above it. So you need at least 90 really millimeters distance between renal to aortic bifurcation to be sure that contralateral limb is open freely. Could this happen? Yes. If you have a short people, yes, you'll be surprised that distance sometimes less than 90 or 80. Then you have a problem. Then you have to use aortouniiliac as we talked before. Okay, so we measure distance from here to there, okay? The third thing, again, we measure the distance here, as we said, in the iliac, in the middle, and the bifurcation. And I mentioned that before because they don't know where your device will fit here. And you give them the number, 3 numbers. And then you need also to measure the distance from the aortic bifurcation to the iliac bifurcation. Okay, we need to measure this one. Why is that important? Because I want at least distance more than 3 centimeters or 30, let's talk all millimeters, 30 millimeters. Because if less than 30 millimeters, the device will be short like here and may jump up and you get indolic later on. So to get a good fixation, you need at least more than 30 millimeters. Some companies they say 20, but 20 has never been enough. You need at least 30. Okay. So let's say the device, it comes short, then you have to put an extension. But you need at least 30 millimeters here. The reason why it's very important to know the distance here from here to there. So let's give you an example. If you have like 124 device, okay, 12 centimeter length, okay? And let's say distance from aortic bifurcation to iliac bifurcation, let's say here 5 centimeters or 50, let's talk millimeter. So and here we said 100. So the total from the renal to the bifurcation is 150, okay? And the company said you 124. So what happened was 24. From here to aortic bifurcation, you have 100. So that means inside the iliac, you only have 24 millimeters, 2.5 centimeters, which is not enough. That means I have to use either a longer device or I have to use an extension, but this will be short. So this is why important to know what the lengths here. All right, then the contralateral, the same thing. We need the size here, there, and 3 times. And also we need the lengths here to know again, how much we have when you use contralateral limb, how much we go inside the internal common carotid artery. And again, it has to be at least more than 30 millimeters. So when you fill up the form, you're going to have size here, diameter, length, diameter, length from here, 3 diameter, lengths, 3 diameter, and length here. What is still missing is what? One more measurement. Anybody knows? Come on, where's my fellows? My fellows should know the things.
Common femoral artery measurement.
No, we did come on. We did 3 times. What is still missing? What? The external, because this was to go through. So this was.
I mean common femoral artery.
Common femoral, no. Common femoral could be big and external could be small. Common femoral always big. You need the external iliac artery. So you need to measure the external iliac artery because this is your most problems happens here in the external iliac artery. So you may have all the number beautiful, but the external iliac artery like 5 millimeters, okay? And you have here 11. So you send to the company all the sizing, and the companies they don't know that you have 5 millimeter here. Then you try to get the device, doesn't go through. Then you have to use a conduit. So it's very important to use the size of the external. So you need also a number to give the size of the internal, external, and both sides, so you can decide which way to go, right or left. And you need at least 7 to 8 millimeters, okay? 7 to 8 millimeter at least of the external to get the device through it. Of course, you look for calcifications if it's there, because if the artery is small and non-calcified, always can dilate it. But if you have a small artery with calcification, you may be able to dilate it, may end with a rupture. So you have to be careful. So you have to look at all the things. But this is all the numbers you need to look for it. And this is what comes in the report. And I'll show a couple of the examples later on. Any question at this level here?
Dr. Samer, can I ask you something about the proximal landing zone?
Yes.
What in the proximal landing zone for EVAR zone number 9? Why we have if we have let's say small aneurysm, or we have 5 or 6 centimeter away from the renal? Why I have to fix it 2 centimeter from the renal? Why I can't fix it down? Like in TVAR, we have so far, we can't go away from the subclavian.
Say that again. Why we cannot fix it below the renals?
If the aneurysm is down and we have good landing zone, maybe 5, 6, why I have to take the measurement from the renal?
Very good question. Very good. It's happened to you before or just came to you?
No, it's happened before. Some patient asked us because he asked if it can be converted later on to open, if you can fix it down, just proximal to the aneurysm, 2 centimeter proximal to aneurysm. So we have, if we want later on room for open surgery.
So what did you do? Did you do it the same he wanted or you went to the renal?
No, went to the renal.
Why? Why didn't do it down, as you said?
That's my question, because in EVAR, we have no problem. So I think it's not related to the dynamic. But in EVAR, this is an issue. So I'm wondering why.
Good, I'll tell you why. Let's get a new paper here. A new one. Here we are. All right. Oh, where's the drawing here? We go back again. So let's see the renals here. As you said, I have a long neck like that, right? This is what your question. A big one. You have long neck like that. So you are saying why I just go and deploy this here, correct?
Yes, totally correct.
I mean, both sides. I mean, of course, like go like that and go like that. And next one, go like that. Anyway, something like that, okay? So why don't this way? This is very dangerous. Why is that? I'll tell you why is that. Because remember, this is a fixed area, right?
Yes.
And this is the renal are fixed, okay? From both sides. And you have, this area is a mobile area here. And disease area, okay? So what happened, this one with the time is going to get dilated, all right? So what happens, become dilated, you're going to get aneurysmal with the time. And then what happened? Then become very, very difficult to fix it. Now you have extrarenals. Then you have to do a chimia to go with the EVAR. Okay?
Okay.
Oh, so you don't want, now it's very easy to fix, just put it exactly here. But if you do it down and leave this area here without fixation, this is, remember, this is a disease, aorta, is the whole aorta is disease. The reason why, one of the problem of why we follow up all the aneurysm, because we know the neck will dilate with the time. The reason why we follow up. If we know the neck will not dilate it, then we just do a CT scan after surgery and that's it. We don't have to follow them the rest of their life. But we know this is a progressive disease and the neck will get dilated. So what happened is that if you leave this area, you have higher chance to get dilated because there are two fixed area here and this get dilated. And when they get dilated, you're going to fix it later on, then you're stuck because you have juxtarenal, no neck now. So you have to go suprarenal, then you have to do a EVAR or you have to do a chim. Okay? So prevent that from going exactly at the renals, you know? And this may take me to the question is that sometimes you see a device, you put it there and you follow up, the device goes down, but no endoleak, okay? Like you put it here and you follow up after like 5-6 years, the device is here and no endoleak. Should I treat it? Yes. If it's more than 1 centimeter here, you should treat it. Because again, now it's very easy to fix. You just put a cuff and you're done. Even if there's no endoleak. But if you leave it now without treatment and later on he form an aneurysm here, then you are in big trouble. Then you have to go with a BVAR and FEVAR and all the things. All right? So really the question comes is that if the device moved down without endoleak, should I treat or not? And of course, most people will tell you yes. If it's more than 1 centimeter moved down, then yes, it's better to go and put a cuff. Even if it's no endoleak. All right? Question?
Yes, thank you.
Prof Samer, how do we measure the neck if it is a conical one? Do we take the smaller or the bigger one?
Yeah, this is, yeah, we're going to talk about it. It's different. We're going to, let's stay on the basic, but yes, we'll talk about it because a lot, I'm just to give you guys the basics, a lot of variations, you know, but I will talk about it. What else here we need to talk about it? I think that is all. Okay, let's talk about conical neck. You mentioned that. So conical, you have two. You have neck like that. right? Of course, you have a bifurcation here. And you have this reverse conical, you have conical like that. Right? So you have a conical, you have reverse conical. Which one do you think, guys, is worse? Let's give this number 1. So you know what I'm talking. It's number 1, it's number 2. Which one is worse, number 1 or number 2?
I think 2. I think 1.
Why is that?
Because you will have the neck fixation point proximal, you still have, and number 2, you still have it. The device will not slip beyond the smaller neck.
Yeah.
But in the other one, it will slip potentially.
So this is correct. So this is one worse. This one is worse because very wide, so it's very high chance it can slide down. Here, this is a conical, but you have a narrow area here. It's going to hold the device, you know. So even after you put it here, put a device, if you some endoleak type 1 here, it's not an issue because it will go away because no place to go. As far you see like some contrast around the neck, it's okay here. As far not going to the sac, because this one, the tight area here, will prevent the contrast which is coming from above to go to the sac. So this endoleak will sit during surgery, but later on, if you do a CAT scan after reverse heparin, it will go away. Whereas here, the device is going to sit here. The device is sit like that. So when you get an endoleak here, the endoleak will go to the sac because wide area here. See, the endoleak will go here. So this is a very bad, you know, neck. So we go back how to size a conical neck. This is really is no rules. Everyone do it differently. First, let's say like that. You have a neck. First, when you have a conical neck, you need at least 50, guys, let me tell you, the neck, it has a lot of variation. It could be short, could be conical, could be thrombus, could be calcified, could be angulated. So you have 5 variation in the neck. Always you can compromise 1 variation, but you cannot compromise 2. Like conical neck, I can deal with it. Calcified neck, I can deal with it. Short neck, I can deal with it, but I cannot deal with short and conical. Calcified and thrombus. Short and thrombus, you see? So 1 variation, if it's out of IFU, but still you can handle it. But when you go 2 variations, too much. Then you have to stop and think about either to go chimney, EVAR, BVAR, open repair. 1, you can compromise it, okay? So what I'm trying to say, if you have conical, at least to have to go to the standard, you need at least 15 millimeter neck. I cannot go with 10 millimeter with a conical. This is very short. 10 is okay with a straight, but conical not. So how you do your measurement? Everyone is different. Some people, they go at the middle here, the mid part, and they measure it and they take 15%. Some people, they measure it here and they measure it here and they take the average. Let's say here 22, let's say here 26. So they say the average like 24, and then they go oversize 15% of 24, you know. This is a different way to do it. Or some people, they measure in the middle, like let's see here 23 in the middle. So they go with 15% of 23. So there's no rules. What I usually do, I measure it here and I give it 20% oversize. And I measure it here and I give it 15% oversize. So here I'll get 15, I get 20%. And I try something very close to both. Okay. So let's try that. If 22%, let's see, let's try this as exercise. So 22% times 20%, how much would be? 22 times 20% plus 22. So it would be 26.4, like 26, okay? So you see 26.4 will not work good because 26 is here. So I put 26 here, it's going to just touch it. So I know it's not enough, okay? So I'll go like, if you go 26, 15%, 26 times 15% plus 26, like 29 or 0.9, so need 30. Okay. So if you use 30 for 22, be too much oversize. And here, 30. So most probably I will go with 28, and this one. The 28 is good oversized, maybe like 25 to 30% for 22, but here to 26 is about 13, 14%. It's not the best. So most probably I will use an endo anchor with this one if I decide to go with this one, 28, You can use 30, but be too much for here because neck 22, so 30 be a bit oversized, but it's okay. I never see infolding anymore, guys, only in all devices. So don't never be afraid of oversizing. Always be afraid of undersize. All the problem come from undersizing. But even if you oversize 20, 25, 30%, the device will be fine. Okay? So don't get afraid of oversize. Of course, oversize like 40%, but 25% to 30 is acceptable. But don't undersize where you have an issue. And why is that, guys? Always remember that you're measuring the aorta in not the dynamic, in static motion. We know the aorta change about 10 to 15% between systolic and diastolic. And the reason why you oversize, because when we do a measurement, when the CTs cut the aorta, we don't know when this happens, systolic or diastolic. The reason why I need to oversize. The second thing, when you see the aorta and CT scan, always you see haziness area white around the aorta. This is when the aorta change from systolic to diastolic. So you need to take this one in your measurement. And always you measure from outer to outer. Even if the company say from inner to inner, I don't go take inner. I always take outer to outer. And I go 15 to 20%, but outer to outer. So again, always go, guys, toward oversizing. Never go with undersizing, okay? So this is the way. If it's a conical, it's the opposite way, which is safer, like that. What we said, like how we said, like that. You have the aneurysm here. Let's say the number now is opposite. Let's say 26 here. And we have like 22 here, okay? Here I will use again 28, works fine. And here, if I get some endo leak, I don't need endo anchors because here I know this area will hold the device for me. So even if we get some endo leak around this area, this will go away. So here will be fine. So here 28 will work just perfect here. So this is the way how you decide that. And you see, company will not tell you that. You have to do by yourself. The company will tell you it's a conical, it's contraindication, you cannot do it. And always remember, company cannot advise you out of IFU. And if you decide to go to an IFU, nobody will support you. You're going on your own. So you have to be sure you are confident to go out of IFU, okay? And again, don't go out of IFU more than 2. Like you cannot have like conical neck, and short iliac or calcified iliac, you see? So again, to go out of IFU, you have only one variation out. If you go more 2 or 3, you run into trouble. Any question up here before we go any further?
Is there a difference, Dr. Samer, if the product from company to company with regard of this, whether there is suprarenal fixation part or not?
Good questions. In general, if the neck is less than 10 millimeters, you have to do something. You have to add something, either chimney, endo anchors, open repair, EVAR, okay? 10 to 20 millimeter. And I'm saying about mild angulation, not more than 65 angulation, 10 to 20 millimeters is better to use a one with suprarenal fixations. If it's more than 2 centimeter neck, you can use anyone with or without suprarenal fixation. So I still think the suprarenal fixation will give you better, especially if you have a short neck. Nobody, approve that, but just from logic, it is more. So I always like, if the neck is short, 10 to 20 or 10 to 15, let's make it 15 because IFU is 15. So 10 to 15, I will use with the suprarenal is more than 15. then I will use anyone. Then suprarenal is not important. But if you have neck less than 15, it is better. It's not like you have to. It's better to use the one with suprarenal fixation. And of course, a couple of papers, they said, you know, this may compromise your renal function. Nobody proved that. It make your administration later on more difficult. Yes, but again, you have to solve this issue now. Then you don't know what happened in the future. So always try to get the best treatment from the beginning, you know. Well, let's go something about long neck. I just remember something when he mentioned about the long neck. Also, long neck is not good sometimes. You know why? Let me tell you here. Let's have a long neck like that. So you say, oh, this is beautiful. Should be like a straightforward case. But I tell you what happened is that, sorry, what happened? Anyway, so let's say here. So let's say the neck is here, you have a long neck, beautiful. Let's say 90 millimeters. And first we said we should not stop here, right? We should not stop here or here, right? We have to go to the renals. What the problem if you have a long neck, let's say 90? And I saw it doesn't happen, it happens sometimes really. What the problem with this neck?
The contralateral gate will open in the neck?
Correct. This is the problem. So the contralateral limb will open here, then you're stuck. This is an issue. So then it has an issue. So this one has to go back to the aortic bifurcation. It has to be more than 20. Like if it's 24, 25, it's not a big deal, but if it's like an 18, there's an issue. Then the contralateral limb will be a problem. So always you have long neck, you have to think about it. But never come with the idea, I'll deploy it here. Again, I say, guys, don't never do that. I say just to leave it this area. Don't leave ever this area without any coverage. So it's very important. All right, what else? All right. So problem is a lot to talk about. It's a lot of variation. I know where to start. Let's do some examples, I think. Let's get my computer, maybe do one examples, show you how you do sizing. So I'm going to sign out again to my central line program so I can show you some sizing. Just give me 1 second here. Where is it? Come on. Any questions in the meantime, guys? Anybody, any question come to your mind? Because sometimes I don't remember all the questions. All right. We talk about the iliac. Let's say the same, guys, for the iliac. Let's say the iliac is 10 here. And here is 15, and here is 12, okay? The company will tell you, they go with a larger number, 15, they tell you 16. As I said, guys, we have, I'm still fine. All right, so the company, they go with a bigger number, 16. And as I said before, the size you have it is 10, 13, 16, 20, 24, 20, 28. So 15, close to 16, they're going to tell you to use 20. Okay, this is not good. Because remember, guys, you're going through the iliac with 10. Yes, 20 would be perfect here, but this is too much here. So this one, even it's very close, I use 16. Why? Because even if I didn't get much seal here, I get some seal, but not great, but I know I have a tight area here, 10. The same with the conical neck. This is going to prevent any blood going back to the aneurysm. So if it's 10 here and 15, I'll use 16 here. Because remember, guys, iliac, you don't want to oversize much in the iliac. Iliac are small, these arteries, you don't want to put too much graft. So this is an important. But let's say the same numbers are opposite. Let's say I have it here 15, and then I have 10, then I have 12. Okay. This one, I will not use 16 because I've used 16 and I have 15 here. Take these numbers out. So if I have 15 here in this area here, and I use 16, which is very close, then I'm going to get an endo leak back to the aneurysm. Then in this way, I'll use 20. So in this way, 20. So it's very important to see what the size of the iliac at the entrance. This is the most important, to see if you get good zero or not, because you don't want the blood to go back to the aneurysm. Okay. The other thing you have to think about it. Let me give you an example. Again, let's say here, let's say here 12, 16, and let's say here 15. Okay. Let's say the links from here to the iliac bifurcation, let's say the long is like 250. Okay. And the links from here to the bifurcation, from renal to bifurcation, let's say we have it 130. Okay. And this is very common mistake from the company. So the company is going to say, let's say here 22, we need 26. Okay. So let's say 26 proximal. Distal 15, 16, 12. They can tell you need 20 because you need the next number. The large 16, so you need to go to the next number 20. Okay. Then they can tell you this is 250. The longest device they have it is 16 millimeter, 166. Okay. 166, let's say what this is 135. Sorry, what is 135? So 166, I will have 135. So that means we're going to go inside here only. Well, let's say here 140, guys. So make it easier for you. Let's say 140 here. So if you use so 166, 140, you have only 20 or 2.5 centimeter here is not enough. So you need an extension. So they're going to tell you you need 26, 20, 166. Okay. But of course, the problem is that, guys, the next one, contralateral limb, always you have two things. You have contralateral limb and you have iliac limb. You have to differentiate between both. Contralateral limb, always the proximal is 16, proximal, and distal is again, they come 10, 13, 16, 20, 24, 20, 28. This contralateral limb. So they have different size from 10 all the way to 28. Okay, it's called contralateral limb. But when you go about iliac limb, no. The size of the iliac limb, the proximal and distal are the same. This size here, the same like that. So when you say I need contralateral limb 10, so usually 10, 10, and they come different lengths. Of course, they come 82, 93, whatever, 82, okay? Or they come 13, 13, you see, same number. And then again, different links, like whatever 92, whatever links. But the most important is that when you talk about ipsilateral limb, the proximal always 16. When you talk about, contralateral limb always 16. When you talk about iliac limb, then the two numbers are the same. Okay, it's important, guys, to remember that. So here I'm going to put a limb, right? So I'm going to put another limb here. I'm going to put it 20. So it's going to give you 20, 20. And then what? 166. The length is 250. So 65 from, we have about like let's 6, 4, 90. So we have 90, right? 250 minus 165, or put 160, it's okay. 160 minus 250 will be 90, correct? But don't give 90, this is wrong. Why is that wrong if you put 90 here? Anybody know?
Because we need the overlap.
Correct. So you need 3 overlap, at least 3. So the next size will be 124. So most of you can go to 124. Okay. We're not going to go to 90. Even it's 90, but we go to 124. So you need overlap. Okay. So the company will send you this sizes here. You know what the problem with this size? Anybody knows why this is not good?
The diameter is big for the iliac.
Correct. Now at 16, we use 20. No, this is okay. This is a recommendation. If it's 16, we use 20. So we're not oversized much. This is the size we need. Because we put too much fabric inside the iliac, because this is 166, right? This is 140. That means the first one is going to end here, right? First limb. And this is already you have it here 20. So you already have 20 here. And then you're going to put another one inside it from here down in the iliac here. Also another 20. Okay. So just imagine how much fabric we have in this area here. We have 2 devices, each one 20 inside the iliac, which is 16. So this is a bad. This is yes, numbers, but this is a bad plan. So what else? Let me tell you what I will do. So first, I don't want to be the overlap here inside the iliac because iliac is not very big. So I like to overlap in the aorta because aneurysm is big. So I use a shorter device, 140 here. So maybe use 124. They have device 124. Okay. So what my sizing will be 26. Okay. The second one, I don't like to be 20. Let's use 16 because all the contralateral limb are 16. And always you can go from 16, or you can put 20 and 16. And it give you more fixation than put 20 inside 20. So I'll use 26, 16, 124. Okay. So I have it here, and then it will end here. It's 140, so we'll end here. Then when the next one will come, is going to come like here. So the overlap area will be in this area here. Well, inside the aneurysms. Then I will look what the contralateral things I need. Either 16 by 20. So contralateral, we can use contralateral limb 16, 20 by, we'll see, 124 minus 250. So we have 8 and 5, 8 and 5, 13, correct? 24, 80, and 50. Yeah, 130. And you need overlap at least another 30. So you need 160. The links, they come 154. So you may need 154. Or even you can links 199. You can do more links now because you can overlap more. You can overlap to 4, 5. You can overlap here. The more overlap is better. So you can better all longer device. But you see with this one, you have a better plan because overlap was done here, not inside the iliac. And this is what you see. How is my measurement different from them? They need 26, 21, 66, 20, 21, 24. I'll order 26, 16, 124, 16, 20. 154 or 112 will be enough. So both are right, but this is the difference. This is what the company, they don't see it unless if you do by yourself and look and think about where's the device, how to behave. Any questions here? Is it clear at this point? Wow, it's already 8 o'clock. So this is all what we need to talk about planning. Sorry, it looks complicated, guys. It's really simple. It's not complicated. Just have to understand the concept. Sorry, I scratched a lot, but just to understand the concept. And again, all the numbers, you just have to go with the book. Every company has a book, so you can take the book and look at the size, and you pick up the right size. But the most important to do the sizing, and then you measure. So let's do it here. Let me do very quick before you forgot. let's do one example here on the, let's see if I can follow stop screening. Do you want to continue? Let me stop sharing here so then I can share the other one. Stop share. Okay. So I'm going to share here. Share. All right. So how I get that?